Been a bad couple of weeks for old Marvel. As you know, Creed 3 delivered the knockout uppercut to Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's likely going to go down as maybe one of the biggest flops for Marvel ever. I mean, it almost got beaten by Demon Slayer, which I know I'm not knocking Demon Slayer. The problem is that movie was barely on any screens. They never put these anime movies, when they bring them over here, on a lot of screens. They usually get like a couple of showings. That's it. I wish when they did it, they would actually give them full runs. I remember when, for example, Dragon Ball Super Broly and Superhero came out here in the States, they would be in theaters, but on one screen. So you would get like 3 showings. That's it. All of them would be sold out too, which is why they're doing so well. So the whole theater would be sold out. It's like, why aren't you putting these on more screens and giving them more times? I bet you Demon Slayer would have done a lot better if it would have been available on more screens in the actual movie theaters. But it is what it is. It did really good despite being a limited release. And it came close to Ant-Man's weekend box office, despite Ant-Man probably being on a buttload of screens. Which it also got knocked off a bunch of screens thanks to Creed. So Ant-Man probably going to lose money. And you want to hear something funny? Or actually, I'll show you something funny. The movie is doing bad. But there's no articles really talking about it, except for this one from Fandom Wire. Maybe it'll force Marvel to focus on quality, despite highest opening weekend. Ant-Man 3's reportedly a disaster. Are you kidding me? It is a disaster. It is a disaster. But no one's really reporting on that. Isn't that kind of funny? That just shows you, when I talk about Marvel and Disney and journalists being shills for them, this is an example of that. Because they're not talking about this honestly. In fact, they're probably going to sweep it under the rug. Why? Because that hurts Disney's stock. The reviews, they don't matter as much. They do a little bit, but what really matters is the performance at the box office. And the stock would already have dropped because of that, but negative attention on it would create a little bit of a stock problem. Like, not a huge one, right? Maybe if there was a string of box office bombs in a row, that might hurt it, but it would still be negative attention. Bad negative. Like, this is not good. This is damage to what is their biggest brand, is Marvel. So, they're silent on it. They don't say shit. And, now this failure is moving across the MCU. We found out not that long ago that the Marvels got moved to the fall so that they could do reshoots. Talk about last-minute reshoots, too, by the way. This movie apparently is doing awful with test audiences, which doesn't surprise me. Nobody gives a shit about any of the characters in this movie, as much as Kevin Feige wants to sit there and say that this is the same feeling he got from watching the first Avengers, which, yeah, press X to doubt on that one. So we have a little bit more detail, at least according to from a scooper, on what these reshoots entail, because you've got to do something because the audiences hate it. I think there's not really much you can do here. You've got Brie Larson, who is like a charisma vacuum. At least when she plays this character, she is. And I don't know anything about the woman playing Monica Rambeau. Maybe she's good. Maybe she isn't. She was in a couple of episodes of WandaVision. Really wasn't enough to get excited about her or anything. And then Miss Marvel, I didn't watch that either. But I'm going to bet a lot of this goofy footage is from her character. So the Marvel's reshoots dump goofy footage following Ant-Man failure. And they're saying that apparently this involves the third act. So a new rumor offers further insights as to the delay and problems surrounding the Marvels, where it is claimed the reshoots involve fixing the third act and removing goofy scenes. The info comes from the Watcher Twitter account, who appears to be new to the Scoop game, and Redditors have posted the information. Reshoots, I heard the third act is being reworked. There were also tonal issues with the film. They may trim some of the goofier stuff down. I'm also not sure the third act incursion is happening anymore, tweeted the account. The third act incursion is a reference to an earlier leak about the Marvels from last summer that is said to be a verified plot leak posted to Reddit. Spoiler warning. Also, it appears the Marvels reshoots are happening, which will remove goofy scenes as a result of Ant-Man and the Wasp failing, as well as the notion that the MCU is just too damn goofy, something the Mandalorian is now being chastised for. So that's what they're saying. Whether or not this is true or not, I don't know. I do think that there might be something to this, considering the fact that we know that the test screenings for this movie, which I'm sure exist because this movie was supposed to come out in June or July. So this would be about the time you start showing an unfinished cut to people and trying to get an idea of how people are going to feel about it. So I do think they want to get rid of some of this goofy stuff. People are a little sick of it. They're going to probably try to make it a little bit more of a serious movie. However, how well will this go over considering... I don't know. Considering the popularity of these characters, which is non-existent, how is this movie going to go over with people? This is a hard sell this time. Now, last time with Captain Marvel, you got to sandwich the movie between two Avengers movies. $2 billion movies, big movies. And you got to say, listen, you just watched Infinity War. You're getting ready for Endgame, and if you really want to appreciate Endgame, you really want to get the full experience, you need to see Captain Marvel. Which turns out you didn't need to see Captain Marvel, but that's how they sold it, and it worked. And the movie made a shitload of money. You can't do that this time. Especially now that people just, after that Ant-Man movie, can you really say anyone's excited about Phase 5? You really needed people to go into this excited about the future of the MCU, and that's not happening now. In fact, most people are kind of walking away from the MCU. So, the numbers don't lie. A lot of people skipped Ant-Man Quantumania. You had your diehards go the first weekend. But your diehards aren't going to see it again, and that's the problem. You need them to see the movie more than once. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed to that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.